Alright YouTube, what is going on? It is ConflctNerd Family here today, bringing you another episode of my Transport Fever Let's Play Let's Get Scotland Moving. Today in episode number 15 we have got a few issues that we need to go ahead and address. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you for I always say this, but the support is just getting better and better. The last 3 videos have reached about 500 views within less than 48 hours, which for my channel size is just amazing. I've also gained about 50 subscribers in about 3 days as well, so welcome to everyone who's new. I hope you are enjoying the Transport Fever series. I also just want to say that we are going to be in the future, I think maybe next episode or 2 episodes time, working on the railway from Edinburgh up to Perth. Then from Perth, Pitlochry, Aviemore, Inverness. I was in the Highlands, I was visiting family, unfortunately a funeral. However, I was on the road, the A9, which connects up Perth to Inverness, and I got some amazing photos of the train which goes through the hills, and you'll see them in 2 or 1 episode when we go ahead and build it. So I actually have some images from the Highlands, so you can, when I'm describing this, you have a rough image in your head. However, you probably don't. Scotland's hills are very, very bare. It's just a thing called heather, which I'll explain in the pictures. The hills are very, very bare. They don't have a lot of trees. They don't have a lot of... They're just very bare. That's the bottom line. So you'll see in the photos, and I think that'll be really good because you'll actually be able to see basically what I'm trying to build and trying to emulate when we go ahead and build this line. 2 issues though which people have sort of been mentioning, and I do want to go ahead and at least I can solve one of them. I can hopefully try and help solve the other one. So the first one is intercity, and that is a big problem which we're having of just build up. So in between this and the next episode or a few episodes down the line, I'm going to have to go ahead and just increase the capacity on bus routes. That's evident. As we can see here, Berwick, Dunbar, Edinburgh is really, really bad for this. Every single bus stop for the Berwick, Dunbar has at least 50 people waiting, if not more. So that really needs an upgrade, even though it's got a train, for example. Stirling, very much the same. As well, it's not doing very well at all, and this is probably one of the main cities we're going to be focusing on today. It's just the routes that basically link up cities. Let's take, for example, let's take Stirling to Perth, right? So Stirling to Perth, there's a lot of people waiting at the stations. Then there's 1 or 2 stops on the way out of town, for example this stop here, which all of the north of Stirling has to use if they want to either go down into Stirling or up to Perth. And that is just causing a lot of traffic issues, and it's also causing a lot of build up at the bus stops. So what we need to do, instead of having basically everyone in the north of Stirling use this bus stop, we need to go ahead and have other bus or tram stops in the north of the town to connect up to the centre of town, but not just on that line, if you understand what I'm saying. So what I really need to do is go ahead and just spread the load of people. That's the bottom line, and that's what we're hopefully going to go ahead and achieve today. Alongside that, it's not just Stirling that's got this problem, there's a lot of cities that have this problem. I do think we've really helped out Dundee and Perth since we built that tram line along the north here. As you can see, these trams are doing quite well. There's still quite a bit of build up, which I probably need to go ahead and put more trams in, which is very easy to do. But as we can see, this tram here is full, for example, so it is making a difference, and without that there'd be so much more pressure on the bus line which goes from Dundee to Perth down the bottom of Dundee instead of up by the tram which is at the top of Dundee. I do think that's made a difference, and I think we need to go ahead and apply that to multiple other cities as well, or city areas like Edinburgh, Dunbar, Berwick, which will not be too difficult to do at all. Along with that, today I want to go ahead and build another airport, and I think it's going to be based here. This is probably going to be the Edinburgh Dunbar, more like the Lothian airport, I think, to be honest. I think I'm sort of regionalising my airport, so the airport up in the north, it's called the Highland Airport. It's not like Inverness, Aviemore or Elgin, it's the Highland Airport. We'll have the Lothian one here, and we'll maybe have the Clyde airport over here or something like that for the River Clyde, which goes through Glasgow, or we'll maybe have the Ayrshire. I'm not really at all sure. I still do need to do a lot more naming, which I'll do at some point for sure. But let's go ahead and actually get started on today. One thing I would like to say as well is that it's the morning. It's currently 8:52 right now, and I do not record in the morning, so if my voice sounds a little bit croaky, I do apologise. I always tend to do my recording in the afternoon or evening, then edit in the morning, but because I was away visiting family over the weekend, things are a little bit hectic and up in the air right now, so I do apologise about that. But my throat, I don't think my throat sounds too bad in the morning, but it's something which I'm always very aware of. I don't know if it's just being Scottish or it can sound very, very rough in the morning though. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to start off by flattening out this land. I'm not going to build the airport right now, but I just want to go ahead and flatten it out for the time being. Or actually, tell you what, I think I will build the airport first, and that means we can go ahead and build a tram line around that. Right, so after quite a while of going ahead and flattening out this land, it's such a long, unnecessary process, and I know I do moan a lot, but that's as big as the brush can go, and it's really frustrating, and it just takes so much unnecessary time to go ahead and flatten our area out. But now we've got this area flattened, we can hopefully go ahead and build an airport. Now again, it's probably just going to be a medium airport, and the reason for this is because there's no need for a large airport. I don't think I'm going to get use of large airports on this map, to be honest with you, but it should fit in roughly around here quite nicely. So that'll fit in there nicely, and as we can see right now, I believe it only has one terminal. We can go ahead and upgrade that to 3, just because long term I do want to have lots of airports functioning. Maybe by episode about 25 or so, hopefully this game and map will have an amazing air transport system. In my previous Grand Canyon map where I had airports, we had about, I think, 4 or 5 airports, but none of the airports did very well. The only one that did well was Boulder, and Boulder had a population of like 4,000. That was the only reason it did well, and it was the only route that really generated a little bit of money, to be honest. So it's something which I've struggled with in the past, and something which I want to go ahead and try and overcome in this series. So we're going to have a road connection there. Then what we're going to do is I want to create a small bus station out here, I think, actually. So we'll go ahead and do that. That'll be extremely easy to apply. So we'll go ahead and just build a basic road along here. And then what we'll do is we can't attach to the end. Should have selected the other type of airport there. Then we'll go ahead and connect you into there. We'll build just a very, very small bus station in the middle here. And this will basically be links up to, for example, Dunbar and Edinburgh most likely. So we'll stick you in there for the time being, and that works out fine. So now we've got that airport built, I'm actually going to come back to it because I want to start off by focusing on Stirling first, because that's really what people are requesting I do. So let's go ahead and pull up this map here. As you can see, this is the different routes that are going through currently Stirling right now. Now this is including, as off to the left, it's including the food routes, which that's not an accurate representation. Mainly it's just buses and trains right now. There's a train that goes, 2 train lines actually that go underneath the town, so we can go ahead and simplify this down to roads. So you can see that really all of the bus movement is around the centre of town. Right now we've got the bus station, which I believe 3 different buses go into. That is from Glasgow, that is from Perth, and that is also from Edinburgh. We can go ahead and definitely improve upon that though very, very quickly. So the areas of Stirling that really need connected up, I think, a little bit better. Coming along here, for example, I think this part of town could definitely do with a little bit of work. As you can see, 88 people waiting at that bus stop, 105, just numbers which I really don't want to see. Again, going back to my earlier example, the north here, there's 103 waiting at that stop. Then coming over to this eastern or western side, left side here, you can see there's hardly any transport at all, so that is definitely something that needs to be connected up, and definitely same with the south. So there's definitely real potential for a line somewhere in with this town. However, where are we going to do it? Well, I want it to go via the centre, that's the bottom line really, and then it can go ahead and go via the suburbs. That's really what I'm after. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to start off in the middle and then we're going to work out from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of this for now. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade this main street here, because this is where the main tram stop. I'm not going to have it, I don't think, go into the actual bus station itself, because I don't want to create any more unnecessary traffic in there. Right now it's doing fine. In the future I might, but for the time being I'm not going to bother. Now I want to go ahead and have this tram sort of go to different locations which the buses don't go to, but at the same time I think I also need to support the bus routes, if you understand what I'm saying, so it's going to be a little bit of a balance. So coming up the top here, we're only going to start with one tram line, I think, throughout Dun or Perth or Stirling. This is the time. I'm getting confused. Seriously, it's too early for this. So I'm going to start off with one, but we might build a second in the future. So it's going to go via the centre, so there's going to be a need for this line, that's for sure. And then what I think we're going to do is I think we're going to come along here to the west of town, and then we're going to come down. We're not going to go along as far as the goods area over here. I don't think there's much need for that. I think we'll maybe try come along this way actually. I'm going to have to modify some of these roads. As I said, this side of town just does not have any service at all, so I think it's important that we go ahead and put some service in. So the problem is, you all know with building tram lines is the quotes too much slope. It's something which happens a lot in cities, and it's something, as you can see here, half the town has just disappeared. It's because I've had to delete streets, modify roads, build new roads to go ahead and make this work. It's a frustrating thing which happens in this game, but it's understandable because you can't have a tram going up any higher than, imagine, a 10% gradient. Trains can't actually go any higher than a 3% gradient, amazingly. It's just because of the traction of the wheels, because it's metal on metal. There's no real grip there at all, so it does make sense, but it's just the one very annoying thing. Anyway, so we're down here to the south of Stirling, as you can see. What I think I'm maybe going to do is I'm actually going to do a loop, essentially. That's what I'm going to do. So it's going to cross over, I think, here, and then it's going to maybe go around one of these streets here, up this road here, and then back in and join in at the centre. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Or something like that anyway. So there we go, that is the loop done. So you can't see it very well right now, but we'll go ahead and add in some stops and then we'll go ahead and see how this does. The most important thing is it goes via the city centre, so people are going to use this, and I'm looking forward to see how much use it actually gets. It does go via the city centre at one part of it, but the other part away over here, for example, there's not much pulling out to this side, so I'm only really expecting it to be one-way traffic, people going from here into the city, not really the other way, because there's really not much out here. We could always make a second road connection here at the station, because some people I guess do have to travel here for work technically, but at the same time you don't really see many cars out this way, so I'm not 100% sure the game actually works that way. Anyway, let's transfer back into the city centre here. So let's go ahead and have a station. It's going to pretty much have to be, unfortunately, outside of the bus station. That's the bottom line, because it does need a good connection. Even though I'm not going into the station, I still need to have a good connection with the station. So we'll have one down there and we'll have one up here. This will serve the central area. Then from there we're going to go ahead and have more outer ones. So we'll have another stop here, I think. Then coming down, this is really coming into more suburban area right now. This is mainly residential. Then we'll have another one here right beside our good dropping off area for Stirling City. Then coming over here, I think we should have one round about here. I expect a lot of this area that I've deleted to rebuild over time. I think it's really good land, and I mean Stirling in general, it's just really built up, so it will rebuild over time. Then we'll have another stop up here by we're coming into some more industrial area now. This part of town's very industrial, which is kind of appropriate, so it's beside all of the food processing here. Then we get to roundabout here. I think it's good to have another tram stop roundabout here. And then we're coming back into the city essentially, so we'll have another one on this main road here, I think, and then that will do nicely. That'll connect back into the central stop here, and then you're back where we started. So with that done, I mean, you still can't see it very well, but I'm going to go ahead and draw the route out. I'm going to draw two different loops though, one that goes clockwise and one that goes anti-clockwise. That yields the most profit, that's the bottom line. It yields the most profit, I know that, instead of just having the one loop which starts, for example, here at the city centre, goes off to the left, then comes right the way back round. It's better to just do two separate loops because it will make more money going forward. Alright, so you can now see with these lines built actually the route that it takes around Stirling. So I really like this route. It goes around very important parts of the city. One part is not served as this area up here, which is something which I can maybe go ahead and work on adding an extra bus line, for example, from Stirling to Edinburgh, but go north of the River Forth instead of south. As you can see as well, this bus stop here, there needs to be work in this area. You can also see the roads getting to a much higher capacity as well, so all round we do need to do a lot of work in the central belt. It's something which I have neglected for a few episodes. We focused on the Highlands. I still need to focus on the Lowlands though, so you understand how difficult this map actually is at this stage. So with that done, you can see the route. I really like the route actually. It might be modified here and there at times, but I'm quite happy with how it looks. So now we need to go ahead and add on some trams, which that is very easy to do. So if we jump down here, jump into depots very quickly, and we're going to place a tram down here because it means we don't have to destroy any buildings, which is good. Only 10,000, so a nice small amount of money. So because it's clockwise and anti-clockwise here, then it's going to be relatively easy to go ahead and implement. So we have the choice. We have the Citadis 302, our classic, the one tram that we've used for all of time. Capacity of 48. Again, I'm not really bothered about the top speed when it comes to trams. The reason for that is because you're not going to have a tram really going at 90 miles per hour down a street, are you? You're just not. So, and because the stops are so close to each other, and also because there's lots of like 90-degree turns, as you can see this junction, or this, I guess it is a junction, but more of a bend here in the line, then trains or trams are not going to go fleeing around that, if you understand what I mean. However, in recent times we have unlocked these two trams here. These are DTs, which are varying in length, so we've got the 40 metre and the 80 metre, with a capacity of 64 and double that, funnily enough, 128. So we've got a choice here, we really do. What I think I'm going to try is these trams here. I'm going to try the DT 40 metres and see how they do. They might not do very well. I really don't know how this line is going to do. I think it will do okay, I think it will make profit, but I'm just not 100% sure, to be honest. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually colour these trams as well. So we'll colour you guys in pink and buy 1, 2, 3, 4 of you guys, and then we'll set you onto the clockwise route throughout Stirling, and then we'll go ahead and buy some in that sort of reddish pink, that salmon red I would say, possibly. We'll buy 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and then we'll go ahead and set you onto the anti-clockwise tram route in Stirling. So let's actually go ahead and see how you guys look. So, interesting, you're sort of only 2 cars, which is kind of odd, to be honest. I don't like how it goes around the corners, that's for sure, but they do look nice. Well, do they look nice? I don't know. I'm a bit unsure. I think I need to get used to them a little bit more. As we can see, that tram just did a very strange turn in the road, but these trams are onto the move, which is good. The salmon ones as well. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts down below. Do you like the look of these trams or not? The main reason I bought these trams though is to definitely go ahead and see if you guys, or one of you is on the wrong line, that's for sure. I think you guys need to sort yourselves out going onto the right and wrong tracks, because the pink should be on the inside, but I'm sure you'll sort yourself out over time. Hopefully anyway. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, you're on the wrong side again as well. You shouldn't be there. Right, hopefully that'll sort itself out. I'm not really at all sure, but tell me what you think of the trams. Do you like them or do you not? The main reason I bought them though is for the capacity. We'll come back later on in the episode and see how you guys are doing. So the next project I want to go ahead and turn my attention to is a project which goes from Edinburgh to Berwick. Now, in this place here, as we can see, there's a lot of people waiting to go on public transport, if that's buses or trains. We've also need to connect up to the airport as well, which is something which I want to go ahead and implement. What I'm probably going to do for that is, I think I'm going to do a bus into Dunbar bus station and a bus into Edinburgh bus station and just call them Airlinks, so they're specifically for the airport. Again, I'm very unsure how the airport is actually going to do. I'm a bit concerned about it, if I'm totally honest. I mean, I'm just looking at the other air route, for example. We checked on it at the start of the episode. It was losing about 2 million. It's now down to losing 4 million, and 35 is actually a good number, but it's still not what I'm really looking for. I think I bought 2 big planes, to be honest. I should have gone for the Airbuses, which had only 38 seats, instead of those larger planes with 35, if I'm totally honest, but we can go ahead and change that later on. So what I need to go ahead and do is solve this issue here. So first of all, just referring back to the Perth Dundee, when we added in the tram, that was going from the same points, but it was just going via a different route. It was going via the north of the town. I want to do the same here. Instead of following the bus route, I want to go ahead. The bus line's up the top here, as you can see, along this sort of, well, you can see it really, it's the street lined with pink lanes, those are bus lanes. I want to have one coming along the bottom here, roughly where my mouse is, and that's what I'm planning to do. Just to have the same route going from point A to point B, but just doing it with trams. That's really what I'm going for here. So let's go ahead and delete all 3 of yous there, because we're going to connect a winding road which goes between, and this is going to be used as our starting point for our new tram system. So let's go ahead and just create you like that. Actually, let's go ahead and just chop that a little bit off there. Then let's go ahead and build you to... If you have to do it at that angle, then yes, I guess we'll go ahead and build it. But there we go, that works out fine. So this is what I'm planning to do, and it's just going to hopefully go ahead and relieve this whole area. I also want to maybe have it start at this side as well. Go ahead and, I mean, this area part-time's really poorly served. It can go via, or go very close to this station here. The problem is, it's difficult, this station. Can I go ahead and upgrade this actually? Because that'd be something which I'd love to do. That road's unfortunately in the way, but we're going to go ahead and just remove that road. And then we should be able to hopefully upgrade you now. It's just, yeah, there we go. So I just want, I mean, Edinburgh, it's a very important bus station, so I think it does need that at least 4 different lanes. Along with that, we've got a really good integration here with the railway line, which again I think trains maybe need a capacity upgrade there as well, because 337 people is a lot. Understandably that figure is higher just because we deleted the bus station, but when the bus station gets back up and running it will reduce the numbers, but not by a lot, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and start the tram line for this town, and we're also going to go ahead, actually I think we'll start off with trying to get the plane into action. So the first thing I'm going to get you guys to do is actually return to your depots. That's what I want to do, because I want to go ahead and change the type of plane that is going to be on that route, because it's just not working out so far. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and create a bus which goes down to the airport. Now for this we're going to actually go ahead and create a new road which goes from there over to there, and let's go ahead and no and no. The reason I'm doing this again, it's just to spread the traffic out a little bit more, plus we can have some bus stops down here, which this part of town really isn't done well at all, so it's going to hopefully tick quite a few boxes off my list here. It means also the tram can go via the main road instead of this smaller road, and hopefully get more use as it'll be linked up better to the bus and the train station. So let's go ahead and very quickly jump in here, jump into bus stops. I just want to line this road with a few extra bus stops. So we're going to have a bus stop roughly here, we'll have a bus stop roughly here. As you can see, this sphere of influence is absolutely great. Then we'll have one here, and then you'll eventually go along to the airport. So even if it doesn't generate a lot of airport traffic, it should generate a lot of traffic just going to these houses, buildings and commercial lots down this part of town. So let's go ahead and continue adding to this line. So stop there at Main Road, a stop here at Grove Road, and then finally St John's Road. You'll then land up here at Dunbar Sidings, which again that will get renamed. I promise I'll do all the renaming in between this and the next episode, and I'll also do all my capacity upgrades as well in between this and the next episode. So that there is going to be called the Edinburgh Airlink. The Edinburgh Airlink is a real bus. It's the number 100 bus which operates 24/7 in Edinburgh, and it connects up Edinburgh City Centre, Princess Street, with a few other streets all the way to Edinburgh Airport. Very useful bus, especially if you've got an extremely early morning flight. I was once, when I went down to Runefest, my flight was at, 6:15 in the morning. I got that bus at like 4 AM in the morning, so very useful to have. Costs like £4, which isn't bad to be fair, and it was just very good connection and convenient connection up to the airport. So that's, we'll go ahead and connect up to Edinburgh City. Then we're going to go ahead and do something similar with Dunbar. Now, if I can remember correctly, there is a good opportunity here for a few more bus stops as well, which we will do. So if we jump back into bus stops here, now I want you to go straight over here, and then you can come in and there'll be a stop there. A lot of these roads round about here definitely need a capacity upgrade. They need to go and be made into possibly double lanes or maybe single lanes. I'm not really at all sure. Then we can have another bus stop. Oh, wait about, somewhere on this road here, there's just not a lot of room, that's the problem. We'll have you there, and then you can go straight into the main bus station up the top. So we'll go ahead and create another line here, then we'll start you at the Dunbar Siding, again to be renamed. You'll then go into Park Road, Green Lane, two absolutely classics. Main Street, another classic, and then into the main station. Happy to have you go into the main station because Dunbar branch is only used by two other lines, the Edinburgh and the Berwick one, for the time being anyway. Then we'll have you going back via Main Street, Green Lane, Park Road, and then you're back down here to Dunbar Sidings. So that there's going to be the Dunbar Airlink. Dunbar definitely does not have an airlink. Dunbar is at the wrong side of Edinburgh to Edinburgh Airport, so if you really wanted to go from Dunbar to Edinburgh Airport, you'd have to somehow get your way into Edinburgh City. If that's during the night, it'd be quite difficult. Then from there you can get on the Edinburgh Airlink to go out to the airport. So with those two added in, we can go ahead and start to add some buses. So there is a bus depot right wedged in the middle of Edinburgh and Dunbar, and we're going to go ahead, going to be a little bit cautious here because I know that our other two airports are not doing the best, so we're going to go ahead and just add 2 city buses onto each of you guys. So we'll put 2 onto the Edinburgh Airlink and 2 onto the Dunbar Airlink. The thing that is going for them is that they do go via suburban areas of the town, so I do still think they will get a little bit of use. How much use, I'm just not really at all sure. So with that done, this airport is now actually in order, so we're going to go ahead and connect up Dunbar South all the way up here to the Highlands. Don't think we'll do the Glasgow one yet. I'm going to ask that question to you. You can decide, should I make a connection from Edinburgh Airport to Glasgow Airport? I'm not really 100% sure if I should because one, it's a short distance, As you can see, the airports are very close proximity to each other. However, at the same time, the trains and the buses that go in between all these towns, they're incredibly full. So it might actually be good because the planes might actually get use. I could always try it out with 1 or 2 planes, but I'll let you guys make that decision down in the comments below, so please give me your feedback. So this is the Highlands Lothian air route which will operate, and again I think we'll just start off very basic. So let's jump into the hangar here. This has got one of the planes. We're going to go ahead and sell the, it must have been the 757 which we were operating, which we know that doesn't really work, so we'll go ahead and sell you guys. We get a fair bit of money back there. That was a good 14 million, which is nice to see. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and buy aircraft. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and instead buy the Airbus. Smaller capacity, smaller running cost, and smaller overall cost, which is something I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and buy 1, 2 of you guys, and let's set you onto the Highlands Glasgow, and then we'll buy 1, 2 more, and then we'll set you onto the Highlands Lothian. Which Lothian and, well, Edinburgh and Dunbar, that's the Lothian region of Scotland in general. So when I'm referring to Lothian, you know what it is now. And again, this airport here has amazing forward transport links. It's got a tram station which connects up to Elgin-Aviemore, and there's also bus going into there as well. You've got a train station which connects up to Aberdeen, the rest of the map, then going all the way up to Thurso as well. So really good connections up in this part of the world. This here I think is what you truly call a transport hub, like a proper transport hub. I think it does really well overall up here, and I'm quite glad to see it. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump away from this, and let's go ahead and turn our attention to this tram line which we're going to build through Edinburgh to Berwick, I think. So I think we're actually going to start at the Berwick end this time, because it's something that I've not touched Berwick in so long, so I think it's very important that we go ahead and get this right here. So let me go ahead and I'm just trying to look at what route I actually want to do here. So let's go ahead and grab roads, let's grab large streets, yes, and electric, and let's start doing some upgrading. So we're going to go ahead and, as I said, we're going to really go via the suburbs here. So we'll come along this main section here, I think. Then what we'll do is we'll drop down to this lower area here. I think that's my best bet. So this has just got, I mean, awful connections down here, but going forward it should have much better connections. This connects into the bit which we built earlier, as you can see, and then it's just going to continue along this bottom bit here for the time being. Go through, I think we're now into sort of Dunbar proximity, so as you can see Dunbar Station's up the top. We're not going to connect into Dunbar Station, I don't think. I think we'll connect into, or outside Edinburgh, but we're not going to connect up into Dunbar, that's for sure, just because it kind of defeats the purpose. I want a similar but not exactly the same route, if you understand what I'm saying. Then we'll come along here. Of course construction is not possible there, so we'll cut along one earlier instead. Then we'll come along this main road here. We'll have a stop along this main road. I don't think I'm going to go into the depot, because I do want this to continue down here and go into more suburban area along here, just because, as I said earlier on, this part of town of Edinburgh is really not well served. There's the Edinburgh Park railway station, but again that's got so many capacity issues, so it's something which I want to just have a tram which comes along here and essentially just turns around and then goes backwards. That's really what I want to do. So we'll have a stop quite close to Edinburgh Park actually, then that is the line now essentially built. So now all we need to do is go ahead and put lots of stops onto this line. I realise right now, again, similar to Stirling, you can't really see too well how this is going to map out, but once I place in stops and then actually draw out the line, then you'll see how it's going to operate. So we'll first of all add a stop up here, quite close to Edinburgh Park, so if people get off there they can go ahead and jump on the tram to get back to their houses or work wherever they are onward travel going. We're now also into 2018 interestingly as well, so that is us now past our current day. I think we'll have a stop over here as well. This area is doing much better than it once was, and we can already see someone's waiting for the Edinburgh Airlink. Then we'll have a stop on the, actually that's something I definitely need to do. I obviously downgraded this section when I really meant to upgrade this section, so Jesus, that cost me a lot of money. This is going to cost me a lot of money, and so's that there, but it's required. I think I went down to 4 lanes from 6 lanes, which is something that I definitely did not mean to do. This will all fill out very, very quickly though, because it is in demand area. We'll then add in a stop there. We'll then add in another stop up this end here. Then we're coming back up onto the back roads here, which is going to be quite useful. We can have multiple stops along here. So there's a stop there. Quite a few stops in quick succession. This will tie in with the Dunbar Airline, so if you want to get off the tram and go into Dunbar bus station, you can jump off here and then jump onto the bus. We'll have another stop as we're coming along here into Berwick as well. Now we're into Berwick after you've passed this long road here, so we'll definitely have a stop here as you come in. Then we go down a little bit and we'll have another stop down the bottom here. Then we're coming much more central now, so I think we'll have another stop before we jump back onto the main roads. Then we'll have another stop just here, just beside the Berwick train station, and then that will go into the main station in Berwick. So we'll very quickly go ahead and upgrade this to electric, select yes, and that is the whole route's now ready to go. I just need to go ahead and actually create the route. So from this, looking at the dark green line, you can see the route it takes. It is close to some of the previous lines, but as again we've gone ahead and implemented it, it's a little bit different. It'll be better when it gets up into operation. Again, I'm a little bit unsure on this one. I think it will make a profit, but I don't know how much of a profit it'll make. As long as it breaks even, then I'm willing to go ahead and allow it to continue operating. I just need to go ahead and basically add trams to it now. So let's go ahead and build a tram depot. This area is quite open, partially because we've done a lot of upgrading, but I think this is the crossover point between Berwick and Dunbar as well, so these areas usually take much longer to actually fill out. So we'll go ahead and again, just nice flat land, nice cheap builds here, which will go in there nicely. So this is a point to point, it's not a circle, so it's not exactly the same as Stirling. Because this line is so long as well, I think certain parts will be extremely busy and I expect other parts to be quite quiet. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go with the classic Citadis 302. We're going to go ahead and buy 10 trams, as you can see we've done here, and we're going to go ahead and deploy use on to the tram Edinburgh Berwick line. Again, we'll come back and see how you guys do. I think this will do well though, I really think this will do well, and hopefully it can integrate as well with some of the air links. It definitely will with the Dunbar. It is very close to 3 train stations, Edinburgh Waverley, Edinburgh Park, and also Berwick as well, so that should really hopefully go ahead and make the difference, because there is a lot of issues in these 3 towns, and hopefully that will go ahead and at least help resolve them. As you can see, just the amount of traffic and the amount of people in, this is Edinburgh one right now, it's just getting incredibly high, so it's very important that I go ahead and up the capacity very shortly for multiple different routes. That's what I'll do in between this and the next episode. What I want to turn my attention to now is just analysing some of the, I mean, this part's maybe not the most interesting, so I'm not going to do any more building. We're just going to look at some of the different lines here they're doing, and I'm going to tell you what modifications I'm going to make between this and the next episode. The 2 things I do want to check though are the new trams we built, that's for sure. So as you can see right now, we're losing quite a bit of money on our new Stirling tram. As we can see though, there are people using them. However, I'm really thinking that the Citadises would have been better on these routes, and I think that's what I might go ahead and do. I might change these trams to Citadis 302s, just because some of the trams do have a fair amount of people on them. However, they don't have that, they're never going to reach 64, that's the bottom line. They probably wouldn't even reach 48, so it's much better if we go ahead and have the Citadises, just because they have a smaller running cost, so we're more likely to make profit. Bar that, right now, I mean, your trams are mixed. Trams never make a huge ton of money, that's the bottom line. Your main money always comes from trains, and as you can see, our Isla Stirling food train, that is always done exceptionally well, and the Peterhead to Prestwick as well, that's always doing well. As you can see, we've got like 260 people, 380, we've got a 378, and we've got an 89, so very mixed there. That's something which I might put an extra train onto though. I do think we need to work on the Glasgow-Newcastle line. The Aberdeen-Thursday's in the profit as well, so all in all we're doing quite well all round, which is good to see there. There will be maybe 1 or 2 modifications. I might upgrade trains here, and I'm going to have to sort out the North Food line again, because I've obviously not got that quite right, unfortunately, but we'll go ahead and have a look at that shortly. That's what I'll do. Then going ahead and analysing the roads. We've not focused on the road in a while, and it's because we've been focusing on other stuff like goods, this, that, and everything else. However, it's something that, because we've built a lot of tram lines and train lines recently, there is a lot of bus lines which are, in a sense, competing against them, and they're sort of defeating each other's purpose. So a lot of difference, for example, the Aberdeen to Peterhead, there's now a railway line there. What I will do is probably just pull a few buses off. I'll not delete the line, but I'll just pull a few buses off, or I'll go ahead and modify them. In general though, there's not many buses that are actually in the negative. There are some newer ones, for example the Airlinks, which are funnily enough struggling. The Dundee Perth though, that probably needs a lot less buses now, just because you've also got a train and a tram competing on that route as well, or I just simply need to go ahead and modify it. With that said though, the airport at Thurso, or the airport at Inverness, sorry, that I think you guys buses are a bit too exceptional. I think we can go ahead and downgrade to maybe 40-seater buses there. That's probably a better idea. Thurso Dock Runner, it's getting closer to the profit. Then we're having a big problem with the food, so I'll definitely go ahead and deal with that as well. Not really at all sure what the issue is there, to be honest, but we'll go ahead and work that out very, very shortly. Trams are doing okay. How are our planes doing? So our planes are, they're not doing as bad as they were, however they're still not doing great. Nothing waiting at the Highland Airport, which is not nice to see. There is 5 people waiting at the Glasgow Airport, and then at the Lothian Airport there's 1 person waiting, so definitely more work needs to be done there in the future for sure. And then finally the water, the boat from Peterhead to Thurso, that's always been doing good, and boats are something which I probably need to implement that little bit more. Anyway, with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap things up there, so I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please leave a like, rating, subscribe if you are new around here. Go down into the comment section below and tell me what you would like to basically see me work on next. I've got a few ideas. However, if you want to go ahead and see something implemented sooner rather than later, then please go ahead and tell me. Worked on Stirling today, which was one of the biggest requests people were making for me to do. Thank you very much for watching. My name is ConflctNerd Callum, and I'm out.